You're listening to Midlife No Crisis with Katy and Katy.
Just two midlife mates in their 40s, no filters and plenty of laughs. A funny, honest podcast about friendship, women, and surviving midlife.
Enjoy your listen and don't forget to subscribe so you have access to all our future episodes. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. This is nice, isn't it? This makes a nice change.
Special Friday morning.
I know. So, welcome everybody to Midlife No Crisis. You might notice that my guest host has got a slightly different accent to the
Quite
normal
different.
half Bristolian, half Mancunian that we have. Dulcet tones of Katy Curry.
Love Katy Curry's accent. It's fabulous.
It's so funny. Every so often she's like goes proper northern, and then she'll go like a little bit Bristolian, and it's like, where are you from?
Who are you?
Who are you? So we've got Pat with us today. If
Hello.
everyone remembers, we had Pat doing was appeared as a guest, probably about 6 weeks ago, I would say, something like that. And we loved chatting to Pat so much that when I knew Katy was off for 4 weeks, I asked Pat if she would step in and fill Katy's shoes fabulously as our guest host today, which is what brings us
Don't
to.
know about filling them fabulously, but I'll be a replacement. I'll be an
I think you'll
alternative
be fine.
option.
She is worried. She is worried. She's thinking she's going to get replaced.
Oh, absolutely.
She'll be
Absolutely
fine.
not.
She'll be fine. So, just to explain, if everyone's not caught up, Katie's in Australia, and we've actually not shared any of her pictures on the Midlife No Crisis social page, which I should do and I will do later on. And but she is having a fabulous time. She's got all her family with her, so she's got her two children and Dave, and I think she's just loving life, looking at all those pictures. So.
I don't know why I thought she'd gone. I knew her daughter was out there, but I thought she'd gone out on her own to see her daughter. So that's even
Yeah.
more lovely.
So this is the big thing. So she's gone, they've all gone. Her husband and James, her son, have gone, and James is staying. So when they come back in a week's time, she's leaving both her children in Australia. So yeah, the
That's what incredible parenting. You've
I
done a
know,
brilliant job of raising your children
I know,
to be independent and live on the other side of the world.
a hundred
Well
percent.
done.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm absolutely feeling the pain of what she'll go through, but I think it is incredible, and she should be really proud of her kids that they can do that.
Oh, incredibly proud.
Mm.
I'm not crying.
Oh, Pat, don't.
Second
Don't.
hand,
I know.
second hand happiness.
I know. I know it is. It is. It is. It's yeah. And do you know what? I think eventually if they stay over there, the kids, then why don't Katy and Dave move over there? It's got to be better than this bloody country, hasn't it?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. It's
Mm.
mm,
So,
yes.
what would you normally be doing on a lovely Friday morning then, Pat?
Let's take myself back to just a couple of years ago. On a Friday morning, I would be in a sports hall or on a playing
Oh,
field, um, teaching teenagers. At this time of the year, just before Easter, well, I'd probably be doing some trampolining or table tennis actually.
oh no.
Um, yeah, that's probably what we'd be doing. So I've still not quite adjusted. I still kind of pinch myself now on a Friday morning. I could be
Mm.
seeing clients. I'd maybe be going a walk. But yeah, I still kind of pinch myself now and go, I'm not in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have been doing an occasional Friday in Lancaster for the University of Cumbria with the trainee teachers.
Oh
So
well.
that's been nice as well as a
Yeah.
little kind of at the university walking around the campus. You know, strange, but yeah, definitely. This is the first time on a Friday morning I've been doing a podcast. So,
Hopefully not the
who
last.
who knows what comes up on a Friday morning now?
I
I've come
know.
to just expect anything. What about yourself? Because you and Katie don't normally record a podcast on a Friday. So what are you normally doing?
No, so well, this is the third of my 9-day fortnight attempts today. So I've managed two, and then for various reasons, I've had annual leave and just general busyness. I've not done any more. So today was a kind of unofficial day off. But I've actually managed to fill it as you do because I'm not quite accustomed to saying I've got nothing to do. So I can't remember if I mentioned it on the podcast before, but I'm doing a coaching and mentoring course through work. So I'm doing ILM level 7, so looking at executive coaching, which is something
Oh,
that I
yeah,
started probably 10 years ago in my old job and never finished it
yeah,
with coming to work at where I work now. And my boss has very kindly agreed to let me sort of finish it off basically. Well, I've had to start again,
yeah.
obviously, 10 years later. So this today has been, I've got to do 20 hours of coaching to complete the qualification. So today I'm
Uh-huh.
having all my first conversations with people. So they call them chemistry calls, where we sort of
Okay.
agree what we're going to talk about and how we're going to operate and sort of the next 6 sessions and the plan for that. So
So are these, can I ask you some questions
of
about
course you
that?
can. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because I'm interested. So are these volunteers? Did
Yes.
you
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you have you sourced those volunteers yourself, or is there a pool of people waiting
No,
that
I've
will
sourced
benefit from your
them. So
services?
I've got quite a good external network outside of work because I chair an industry group. And so I went out to the committee of my industry group and said, if you've got anyone in your business who needs any coaching or mentoring and is happy to come to someone who's not actually qualified yet,
Yeah,
and I literally got inundated. Like I was
I bet.
a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
surprised really. So I had to do a bit of a narrowing down exercise with everyone.
That's really useful though, because you've got people that want to benefit from it and want
Yeah.
to be there,
Yeah.
as opposed to people that are just doing you a favor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's mutual beneficial, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So I've had my first call at 9 and then I've got a couple more later. So yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying it so far. We'll see how
Good.
it goes, but
Yes.
I will no doubt
Good.
keep you all up to date on that one.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I look forward to hearing more about it.
So in between all of that, I'm obviously doing all the washing as well.
I've got a load on waiting to go out because the
Yeah.
weather's nice.
I know,
Yeah,
and that is a benefit, isn't it? We've got bedding in to wash because I'm thinking I'd get that out on the line, definitely.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's the living room throws I was going to do, but my dad, as we speak, is currently driving down from Scotland,
Oh,
and
lovely.
he brings the fabulous Coco, who is a boxer dog.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, I'm not going to wash those clothes until Coco's been.
No, absolutely. Ah, so what have you got planned with your dad this weekend?
Um, the only thing that's definitely planned is we're going out for dinner tomorrow night. So it was a kind of post, it was my birthday a week or so ago, Mother's Day. So it was a post kind of thing like that. So
Yeah.
he's picked there's a restaurant down here he likes to go to. So we're going there with the kids. And Matt's plans have been cancelled this weekend. So I think Matt might be joining us potentially
Ah,
if he's feeling better. And there's football, netball, because he was coming down to give me a lift with the kids. I can't do everything that needs to be done with the
mm,
kids on my own just because of geography and
yeah.
logistics. So, but yeah, we'll eat food. We'll have a couple of nice drinks
Lovely.
and just chill. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Ah, very
It'd be
nice.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice to
Yeah,
do that, isn't it? Even though it's not your holiday, it feels a bit like a holiday when pe people come and stay with you, doesn't it? Because you don't
you
do
do
what you
something a
normally
bit
do.
different.
Mm.
Yeah, and two people in the last week have told me about, is it Royal Bridgewater, the
Oh, the
gardens near
gardens,
Worsley?
yeah. Have you not been?
Never, never
Oh,
been.
love it there.
So I think might take them there tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah,
if the weather
we
holds.
we took my parents at the end of the summer last year, I think it was. Everything was still out, so it was beautiful. Um and my mum joined actually, having been because she enjoyed it so much. I don't think she's actually been back since she joined, so I do need to take her again. I think I need to
Yeah,
take her if she's going to go. But
yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. There's loads to see, so if you like gardens, it's fabulous.
Well, that's it. I think somebody was saying that last week. You can about the joining and the different things. And I think
Mm,
if you join, you can take someone else for free.
you can, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
And
well,
they've
the first point I call is the cafe, obviously.
obviously, well, they've got a few cafes and they've got a little garden centre as well, which, and obviously
Yeah.
the quality of the plants in there is really good. I mean, I am quite geeky with stuff like that. I like high quality plants. Um, I'm going to warn you that I might have a delivery arriving any minute. So if that happens, I'll cut it out. I'll cut this bit out. That's fine.
Okay.
So I've been trying to sell our camper van this week. That's something that I've been up to. And
Okay. How's that going?
absolute nightmare. I mean, it's not my van for a start, it's Neil's van, so he really should be selling it.
So yeah,
Um,
why have you, how has this job arrived on your plate?
well, you're married and you have a husband, so I'm sure you can answer that question for yourself.
I took I took a mouthful at the wrong time then. That's a really silly question. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Let's go back to why it's a nightmare trying to sell it.
It's just the time wasters. And I had someone trying to scam me
Ah,
as well this week. So this guy contacted me on Wednesday and was asking questions about the van. And you know when you're reading something and it's like doesn't quite sound right, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. It was just the way it was worded. So we carried on having the conversation. He was asking the right questions. And I thought, it's definitely not real, this, but where's he going with it? So we'd got to the point of he was going to come look at it today. And the next thing I got an email from him saying that his mechanic had advised that you use this specific website to do a vehicle check. And could I do that and then send it to him? So then it ensued, because then I was like, right, well, that's your scam, isn't it? So I went back and I
there we
said, well,
go.
we've done one with another company. Will you accept that? Came back, well, my mechanic has specifically recommended this one. So I had a look at it and it was a scam. Like everyone, when you Googled it, it was a scam. So I went back and went, I've just looked at it. It looks like it's a scam. So perhaps your mechanic's not not to be trusted. Okay, no, absolutely. I've used it. It's fine. Um, you must be looking at the wrong site. So I went back. No, definitely look at the right site. I don't suppose you work for them, do you? He came back. I don't work for anyone. When I sold my camper van, this is the one I used. So I sent him the report that we'd already had done, and then I've heard nothing from him since. But
Yeah.
someone else would just click on that link and then fill the doc, and I just think, oh God, I hate them. I hate them so much.
It's awful, isn't it? And and you wonder, obviously, he's trying to get details from you, go into the website and do it, and then you wonder where that could go
Mm.
to. Um, I get time wasters through my business.
Do you?
Um, and it tends to be, I think the first time I did paid ads on social media, and it was only, I think you can target it to your area. And the WhatsApp, I've got a business WhatsApp, um, and it was really awful what some
Mm.
people sent through. Really
Really?
awful. Yeah, really awful.
Oh,
Like images, pictures,
oh no.
short videos. And because it was the first time I did it, uh, yeah. So I've got to the point now. I feel like I'm quite good at sniffing it, like you've sniffed it
Yeah,
straight away. But now I just a block.
yeah.
Um, but then yeah, it's difficult. And then like you, some people get to the point where I've created a blank form
Hmm.
ready to make notes because we've arranged a meeting
Oh wow.
to start getting information, and
Yeah.
you call up and you're ready to go and there's no that they're
Nobody there.
just being weird.
Hmm. I don't
Too much
understand it.
time on their hand.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't understand it. It's just time. Well, it is. It's time wasting. And I thought that's Neil said. He said as soon as you knew it was a scam, why did you carry on? I said, well, to be honest with you, I thought I knew, and he was wasting his time on me. So at least he wasn't getting anyone else while he wasted his time on me. So I was quite happy to string him along with that, but it does really irritate.
I know I can entirely get that. You just
Mm,
it's playing the game a little bit, isn't it? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'll play your own game.
Yeah. I had my godfather, my Uncle Billy used to do that with cold callers. You know, if someone rang up about double glazing or something, he'd literally keep them on the phone, talk about what windows, get them right to the end of it, and then he'd go, actually, do you know what? I'm not that interested in and leave it. It would be like, they're not bothering anyone else while I'm talking to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Life lesson.
Life lesson, yeah,
You might
absolutely.
be on the scammers like list to
Yeah,
avoid now.
I'm blocked. They've blocked me.
Don't bother with her.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy with that, to be fair. Um,
Yeah.
Another question I've got for you before we talk about our topic. Have you watched the Louis Theroux documentary, The Manosphere, yet?
So I've watched part of it. Yes. Have you?
Hmm.
I take it you have.
I watched it. Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it because everyone had kind of, I think people that I'd spoken to were so shocked by it and almost a bit disgusted like by it that I thought I don't really know if I've got the headspace to watch it, but I did, and I
Yeah, I
watched it
agree.
all. I was, yeah, quite shocking, really, really disturbing, I
Mhm.
suppose is the right word, isn't it?
Yeah, I do need to watch the rest of it. And I was speaking to someone about it last night. Actually, one of my a client actually that's like um young man, early
Hmm.
20s, and he was going off to watch it. So we were discussing it. I feel like I need a bit of time to be able to articulate correctly what
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Um, but that behaviour has been around for forever.
Yeah.
And certainly working in high schools and some young people there and males, that behaviour has existed and that
Mm.
treatment has come towards female staff.
Mm.
Absolutely. But I think the difference is now they're on a platform that's accessible to vulnerable young men,
Mm.
as opposed to just being contained within a small environment.
Yeah.
And I think the last little bit that I watched, and I was like, I need to rewind it and watch it again, which I will do. It's the last little bit. It's like some people had come up to speak to this guy, and he was saying, these boys, these won't get anything they want in life because they've not got the female parts.
Yeah.
So they need something else.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Th-
I think
What wow.
it's you're right. It's you need time to think about it afterwards. And I was talking to someone about it in Pilates last night, and she was saying I was a bit disappointed he didn't go deeper on some of the topics. But I think actually what he did was quite clever, really, because and what Louis Theroux always does with his documentaries is he never judges, he asks difficult questions, and he doesn't agree with everything, but he leaves you to draw your own conclusions from it. And I think what the conclusion that I drew, because he was quite clever at the end. He just didn't make a big deal of it, but just showed a couple of the men, because they're men now, as they were as boys on social media,
Mhm.
starting off when they were 14, 15, the
Yeah.
usual stuff that all our kids have done over the years, trying to create a YouTube channel, all that sort of thing. And my conclusion that I've drawn, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, is that these men wanted some kind of platform or fame, and they've chosen this channel, they've chosen this route because it's what's given them the most fame. And it's
Yeah.
almost like they're play acting. And I think
Yeah.
what Louis Theroux asked a couple of them was the responsibility they felt to the wider population, because what you're saying isn't real, and I don't think you believe it, but you're doing it to make money and you're doing it to have fame, and that's the bit that they obviously really enjoy,
Yeah.
but it's not real, and you don't
Yeah.
really believe it. And I just thought that it was so clever the way he did it. And I spoke to Freya about it afterwards because I was just intrigued whether she knew who these influencers were, because I would
Mhm.
never have known of them if not for that
No.
documentary. And she did know the Harrison, the HS whatever Tiki
Yeah,
Toki was.
Tiki Talkie.
Yeah, she knew of him, and she was very disparaging of him. She said he'd had a song out that everyone used to sing. She said, "Bet even Lottie sung it." I was like, "Bloody hell, how was Lottie singing it?" And
Yeah,
then she said that people, I can't remember how she worded it in a very teenage way, but basically people had tried to emulate him, but then realised that he was an idiot, and he's completely lost all his. I believe it's called aura.
Aura. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, I entirely agree with that. They found a way to monetize um that little gap by being
Mm,
controversial. And I think because one of them said his mum was totally the opposite when he was being homophobic, his mum
mm,
wouldn't be pleased. And I was like, I don't believe you believe any of this. It's all.
mm.
But other people, the people that are being influenced,
Yeah,
think it's real.
yeah. And that's the worry.
Yeah. One, yeah, because they're acting
Yeah,
and wrong.
yeah,
But these other people, yeah. What one of the things I found really interesting, and I've witnessed this type of behavior, was when he asked them, the guy in America, about how many children he had, and he was so evasive.
yes.
I can't remember how he worded it. And he was
Some.
like,
I've got
yeah.
some. Yeah, I've got some.
And it's like, what's wrong? It's just it's a strange way to
Mm,
behave.
yeah.
And you started getting a little bit of that in school. It's like, oh, what you know, like, what's your name? And it's like, why do I need to tell you my name?
Mm, yeah.
And you're like, because when I speak to you, I'd like to use your name as I speak to you, as opposed to I'd like to get to know who you are, as opposed to, but they don't want to tell you because they're doing something wrong, and they don't like it's bizarre, like it's a control thing.
Yeah. It is control, isn't it?
It's a control thing, and
Mm,
tell it, yeah. But that's what I don't understand. It's, yeah,
madness. Anyway,
madness.
anyway, we're not going to solve the Manosphere. I feel like the Manosphere is a whole podcast on its own, isn't it? But not necessarily a group of people that I particularly want to tackle.
No, and very much like you, I've had a conversation with my kids, and I was like, "Do you know who this person is?" and whatever. And because I think the other thing that concerns me, I know we're getting off the topic,
Mm. But no,
like we've opened
that's
a
what we
can of
do.
worms
That's
here.
what we do.
Um, the other thing that concerns me is that behaviour that can be displayed in one place can be hidden in another place.
Mm,
So someone could be like that outside their own home, and their parents and friends might not see that behaviour because in the home they conform to what's expected.
mm.
But when they're outside and they're dating and they're doing all these things, that type of behaviour is there.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me. They see it on social media, they think it's okay, but actually, yeah, that
Yeah. And
that's not how we treat people.
I guess to without making a massively sweeping statement, I think that's
Yeah,
applicable more to men than to women because I do think that men behave in a certain way in a family situation, in a home situation, and I obviously see this so much with working with mainly men. Um, and then they come in to the office or they're with the lads and it's like they're a different person. I do think that's a pressure that men perhaps feel more than women, maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we'll let someone cleverer than us solve
we'll
those
put the
problems.
lid on that can.
Yeah. Let's put the manosphere in room 101. Leave it there.
Yeah, let's absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's move on to the topic of the day. I'm really jealous of your hot brew, by
Mm.
the way. I'll need to make an admission. So I made myself a cup of tea and I put the kettle on, went and did something, came back, poured the water in, came upstairs, went to drink it, and it was stony cold.
Yeah,
So I'm a
yeah,
bit disappointed in myself. So I've just got boring water
yeah,
now.
yeah,
So I thought, and suggested to Pat that it would be a nice idea to pick a topic that kind of was a bit umbrella over some of the things that we've talked about recently and kind of fit quite well with what we talked about with you previously as well. So today we're titling the podcast "If We Were Starting Again." Dot 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 dot. Because I thought it would be. We've talked about careers recently in terms of our kids and their subject choices. We've talked about retirement previously. We've talked about all sorts of things. And we're also, well, I'm coming to a milestone age. You've still got a couple of years, but it'll come to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yes, it's looming.
and it does make you think a little bit like, if I was to go back to being 25, would I do anything differently in my life? So let's start with that question. Would you?
Move abroad, live by the sea. I think as a whole, no.
Hmm.
I think I kind of like not in a live with no regrets type thing, but and I'm not woo-woo, but I just kind of think things happen for a reason and you
Hmm.
make those decisions. And I think we are of a generation where if we did want to move abroad or we did want to do those things, we absolutely could have done.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we've chosen certain things. So,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't have moved abroad. There's no way I would have moved to, I mean, I moved to another country from a family, but the closest country I could move to. But yeah, I couldn't have moved abroad, and that, like, I wouldn't have wanted to have moved away so far away from my family,
Hmm.
my parents. So I think ultimately, no. I think
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed my 20s. I feel like I lived a bit of a life, you know.
Hmm.
How about you?
I think it's funny, isn't it? If I was to break it down, there are definitely things I would have done differently. But looking at my life as a whole now, I wouldn't change a thing because if I changed anything, it would mean I wouldn't have what I have now, and I love what I have now. And I
Exactly.
think that
Yeah,
that's and like you, I'm not a massively spiritual person, particularly or anything like that really. But I do think that when you've got to recognize when you've got it good, and I've definitely know that I've got it good, and I'm very lucky with my life. So on that basis, I wouldn't change anything globally.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, I'm definitely happy. But then I think going back to individual moments in time, there are things that I would perhaps have done differently. Um,
Okay,
or I wish that, and I think that's probably more related to career than anything else, because
okay.
I think, and I touched on this last week when we talked about, no, last week, the week before, we recorded so many podcasts in one night before Katie went away. I'm so confused by what we've done.
Lost track.
Um, but I think if I did a degree that I just did because I did it, there was no real strategy behind what I did in my degree. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like going back now, perhaps knowing what I know or understanding the world as I do now, I would change what I did degree wise, definitely. Um,
What degree did you do? So I've not caught up with that episode
no,
yet.
no, it's fine. So I started on a hospitality management degree because I
All
didn't really know
right.
what I wanted to do.
I
And
mean, if I could have picked any degree you would have done, it would not be hospitality management.
I don't like people part. I don't know what was on my mind with that.
Wow, I don't know what I was expecting you to say, but that was like top of the not what I was expecting you to say.
It was
Wow.
basically, I'd had far too much fun doing my A levels, as in not doing my A levels and going out, going to the hacienda with Katy. And
Yeah.
I didn't do brilliantly on my A levels. It did create some tension at home with my parents, I have to admit. And I was working in a hotel at the same time, and that was my job. And I thought, well, I quite like doing this, so maybe I could do this for a living. I could see myself doing this for a living. And at 18, Christ, what do you really know about life? And
Yeah.
what do you really understand about jobs and what's available to you? So I went and did this hospitality management degree. I realised quite quickly into it that I didn't really want to work in hotels. I quite enjoyed what I did, like I enjoyed the management side of it, but then We had to do a year out. It was like a sandwich degree, and my year out failed for various reasons, which I won't go into now, but it didn't happen as it should have done. And I had a bit of a meltdown and thought, I don't want to do this degree anymore. So I had a really good tutor at the time who kind of counseled me through it a little bit. And he advised me to shift from the degree I was on to one called service sector management. So it was a wider topic. It wasn't just hotels. It
Yeah.
didn't require the sandwich, and I could take the 2 years that I'd already completed and shift them onto the new degree. So I did that, and I
Hmm.
completed that. And I basically just got through it. It was for me, it was just I
Yeah.
needed to, I couldn't let the 2 years that I'd spent waste.
Yeah.
So I got through it, finished it, didn't do very well, got 2-2, and then went traveling. And I think it was, and I said this the other week, the traveling was a better education for life for me than I think university was. I had a lovely time, got some brilliant friends that I'm still really good friends with.
Did you
But
go down to London for university?
no, I went to Leeds.
You went to Leeds.
Hmm. So I wasn't too far away. That was
Yeah.
important because I was quite like, I guess, yeah, just not probably lacking a bit of confidence. I wanted to be close to home. I'd had
Yeah.
friends who also went to Leeds, so that helped. And yeah, it was more of a security blanket. I didn't stretch myself very far. I wasn't very good at
Mhm.
putting myself out of my comfort. So
It's
what
not good.
what did you do at uni? Presumably teaching.
It's funny because when you sent me the topic over and it was a little bit, what would you do? Like I went to school and in Scotland, there wasn't, you stayed on for sixth form or you kind of went and you got an apprenticeship in something vocational or you got a job. So you could leave education at 16. I literally went to school and stayed at school till I was 18, went to uni till I was 22, and went back to school until I was
Oh
46.
my God.
That's
Oh.
it. And I knew from quite uh, definitely from secondary school age that I wanted to be a PE teacher.
Hmm.
Absolutely, just knew that's what I wanted to do. But it's very competitive. There was like one university in Scotland that does it
Hmm.
at the time, and I think there was like, I don't know, 70 places. And I'd had, I think I've mentioned it before, like when I was 15, I had a brain tumor. So, which was on the
Hang
back.
on a minute. I did not know that about you.
You didn't know that about
I
me.
did not know that about you. How did I not know
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But well, to be honest, it's not something I ever talked about because I didn't want to be, I suppose, defined by it.
Yeah, no, I get
So
that completely.
imagine being 15 and it was like that happened and it was like so unusual. I mean, I very rural area where I grew up, etc. And I had, I wanted to be a PE teacher prior to that brain tumor, and
Hmm.
it was on the balance part of my brain. So any rotation or any turning, like they basically said after I'd had it removed, etc., that I wouldn't be able to walk the beam or whatever. So they didn't expect that I would be able to be a PE teacher.
Wow.
So I covered my bases with primary teaching because all intents and purposes, I just knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't get into the college in Scotland to do the teaching of it, very competitive and whether it was to whatever. So I went to Liverpool. So
Right.
I moved that's kind of why I moved here because I got a place at Liverpool. So I moved here. So I think from that point on, it was kind of like, I don't know, I think I had a point to prove to
Hmm.
myself, probably more than anybody else. It's quite a good age to get a brain tumour because it doesn't, must have been, I think it was probably worse for my parents and everyone else than it was
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So I think I just then went on gung ho, this is what I'm doing.
Wow. My God, I don't believe it. I can't believe I didn't know that about you. That's a rubbish friendship for you.
No,
Um,
it's not because it is certainly not something that you talk about. And
mm,
to be fair, because I was asked to write a chapter in a book last year, that kind of, in a lot of ways, is where the story starts.
Mm.
So I had to tell my kids because I've never told them
Oh wow.
because, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
incredible, Pat. And, I mean, and I know you kind of you would, and I would never define you by it because you're you, aren't you? But I love that you said it's quite a good time to get it, a quite good age to get it, because because you've obviously you've dealt with it really healthily in your mind, like that's that's happened and it's not shaped me, but I suppose it has in a way, but in a really positive way. So that's amazing.
yeah. It's that mindset, I suppose, of a 15-year-old. I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know how to spell it, a
Yeah.
tumor.
Yeah.
No idea.
Mm.
So I remember like kind of being out of hospital and going for a run. And I think my dad was, I very clearly remember my dad was gardening and I was going out, we lived out in the country and I was going out for a run. My mum was at work and my dad says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going for a run." "You better not tell your mother." So many weeks after surgery, because you
Yeah.
just, whereas now as an adult, you'd be like, "Oh, I better take care of myself."
Yeah. Well, God,
You're
yeah.
much
Wrap
more
ourselves up,
cautious.
don't we? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. What
yeah.
what did your mum do for a living? You said your mum was at work. What did she do?
My mum worked in Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, did she? Oh my God, that's my
Yeah,
mum's dream job.
yeah. She worked in Marks and Spencer's in the menswear department.
Wow.
And little claim to fame, it was the same Marks and Spencer store where Calvin Harris worked.
No way. Did she know him?
He worked in the food hall downstairs and she worked upstairs.
Oh,
So we were driving one day when I was up, like before Calvin was big.
yeah.
His real name's Adam. And we were driving exactly where we were. And she was like, "To the horn, to the horn. There's Adam." And because there was other people that worked there as well that
Yeah.
were in the little band. And she's giving it. So
Oh.
that's a little funny story. Um, yeah, she used to call it he was tinkering in his bedroom and stuff.
But I guess that's what he was doing, wasn't he? Because they're quite geeky, aren't they,
Yeah,
DJs? They're quite technically geeky. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
So yeah, she worked for Marks and Spencer's.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Very good. Yeah, my mum worked, but she'd been a chiropodist actually. She was a chiropodist and she gave up work when we were born. So I didn't know her as a person with a career until she went back to work when I was about 12, I think. And she went back to work because my dad's business had failed and we'd had to move house and all that kind of. So she was kind of in a position where she had to work. Um, but I think she quite enjoyed work at the same time. So
yeah,
I suppose my point is from a work ethic perspective, she did give me quite a good work ethic, and she was a professional. Like she'd been, she'd been a
yeah.
chiropodist. She was highly qualified. We do take the piss out of her a little bit because she literally reckons she knows everything there is to know about everything, particularly around health. Like you're a foot doctor, you don't know about that. You only know from
Is
the
that
knee
how
down.
mums with everything though?
Yeah.
I'm sure when you've said that, that's just, I'm sure we used to call my mum Dr. Helen. It's like, here's Dr. Helen.
So
She'll know the answer.
yeah, I know. Well, we do. And to be fair, what I do still, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because I'll go to the GP for something, and whatever they've prescribed to me, I'll ring my mum and say, "This is what they've given me. What is that right?" And it's, it's like she's not practiced for 20 years. She
So,
hasn't got a clue.
yeah, Mary will know.
Auntie Mary will know. So,
Yeah,
so careers, yeah. So I think probably if anything, careers. I think the other thing that I would maybe do a little bit differently is health. So when I say health, I probably mean fitness actually, in that I didn't really do anything fitness wise until I was early 20s, I reckon. I mean, at school, I was not sporty. Wasn't in any of the teams.
really.
Yeah,
This
not at
is
all.
this conversation, Katie. We don't know each other
I know
at
it's
all.
so enlightening, isn't it? I love it.
At all. I can't believe that.
I know, and
That's
but
shocking.
it is
I
because
don't know if it's as much shocking that you did a degree in hospitality or that you didn't like sport. I need to
Oh,
leave this now. Why have I agreed to this? I don't know who you
I
are.
don't know you.
I don't know you.
I think what we need is a few more nights out, Pat. This is the problem.
Absolutely. I need but we need an agenda of
I know,
questions.
yeah. Like a questionnaire we'll go through. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sporty at all, and I think that was because I was asthmatic. So I was always a bit of a poorly child. Like I couldn't really run or do anything like that without having an asthma attack. And I think my mum was probably a little bit mollycoddling of that as well. Like wouldn't force me to go and do stuff.
Yeah.
And understandably, I suppose it's quite scary to have a child with asthma. Um,
Yeah.
but then I remember I lived in London and they were doing like a fun runny 5K type thing. And I did that with work and it kind of properly switched me on to running. So that I probably picked that up like maybe 23, 24. And then when I came back up north, I carried it on. My brother used to be really, well, he still is really into fitness, but I used to run with him, did a few 10Ks, worked my way up to a marathon. Then I did all my other ridiculous challenges and triathlons and high roxes and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I've kind of discovered weight training and that sort of thing just before I turned 40. So that's where we met Holly, who obviously we've got shared
Yeah.
friendship with.
Yeah.
Um, and that was I don't want to turn 40 and be a fat 40-year-old. So I was
Fat at 40.
standard, yeah. So I really got, and I think it probably took me a few years to understand properly about weight training and stuff. And Holly would probably argue that I still don't. But I think I wish I'd known some of that sooner in life. Like, I wish I'd understood about, you know, muscle growth and protecting all of that stuff that's really important about looking after your health and fitness. Um,
I do think that's evolved as well, though, that
hmm,
the strength training side of things and fitness, because you, you know, that kind of like my late teens, 20s, it was all that aerobics and step
yes,
aerobics
yeah,
and th things like that. And it was like, yeah, they had the gym, but people, I mean, there would have been people that were well into strength training, but it's such a big thing now, isn't it? That
it is.
I think we've evolved at the time that it's happened,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to maybe missed out on it
Yeah. You're right, actually, because I
before.
remember, I think me and Katie have touched on this previously, but talking about aerobics, my mum used to do videotape aerobics classes. Like there was the
Yeah,
girl who was on Good Morning Britain or whatever it was called, Lizzie, I
yeah,
think something she was called, and then there
yeah,
was the
yeah.
Mr. Motivator and
Mr. Motivator, yeah,
all
and
of
they had
the
the leggings and the bright outfits, and
yeah, that's
yeah,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But I suppose, yeah, I mean, I probably haven't taken much of an interest in my health until I've gotten a bit older and thought, oh God, I'm getting old now. I need
yeah,
to look after this old
yeah,
body.
yeah.
Um,
It's funny because I feel like I've gone the opposite way.
mm,
So I was always really into sport. I mean, growing up where I grew up, there wasn't loads of choices. So there was a youth club that did badminton and Crown Green boat, no, carpet bowling.
oh my
It's a
God.
very good carpet bowler growing up. Um, but then as I moved to secondary school, the opportunities in my secondary school, like back in the 90s, was incredible. Like we played
Mm,
hockey all the time, we played volleyball, we basketball, um, we we did loads, and we still had sport on Saturday mornings. It
wow.
it it was awesome. My PE teacher was incredible. I'm still friends with her now. Such an inspiration. I got qualified. She used to do aerobics classes. I used to go to those, and we had like all the bright things and everything. I'm a qualified aerobics instructor.
Mm. Oh, are you?
Yeah, yeah, I can do a
Love
great band
it.
in all directions. Um, and then you know, started, obviously went to PE, did loads of stuff there, and I still kept doing things. And I'm not sure at what point it was where things changed a bit more
Mm,
towards that strength training or running. At some point, I stopped enjoying it.
mm,
And I think because it moved away from the fun stuff, the game stuff, to not doing that and not kind of prioritizing and attending things, that I moved away so long that now when I've gone back and I want to play tennis or I want to play paddle, my joints hurt
Yeah.
and I end up getting injured and everything and I can't do it. So I've really had to make a point to go back to exercise, but the strength training because of
Mm.
my age. But that's for a purpose to allow me to go back to some of the things I used to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I really fell out of like love, I think,
Mm.
with exercise. And I think I don't enjoy it, never gets easier.
No.
So it's that kind of mindset when you just went and played or you did aerobics, you went, you did the class, you done it. But now it's this thing, well, if you lift 5K, you then need to move up to 6K. And if you
Mm.
lift 6K, you then need to move up to there. And I think there was a point maybe about 10 years ago where everything in life, you're busy with kids, you're busy with work,
Mm.
you don't feel like you're winning at anything.
Yeah.
And I think in my mind somewhere, I thought, I'm not winning in this either. And it was
Mm.
one thing too much. I was always coming away feeling like I was crap,
Yeah.
which is weird, isn't it? And I don't think I realised that until I stopped.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that was me feeling competitive with myself or I hated going to these classes where everybody had to hold a plank until you'd finished your reps.
Yeah. So much pressure.
Or you were doing the plank and somebody had to finish their reps and I
Mm.
needed to stop my plank. And if you stopped your plank, everybody else had to start the plank again. And it's like, I've had a really stressful week at work. I want some downtime. I didn't need that. And I
Mm.
think I just got totally turned off
Yeah.
and just avoided it for ages. And now I'm at the point of trying to start again. Does that make
It makes sense. I think the reason why I got so much out of it, and I mean, I agree with you on the classes, and I did probably the same classes as you, and then stopped doing them because I didn't enjoy it, and I'm competitive enough. Like I'm happy to compete with myself. I don't need to compete with a room full of people who are different ages and abilities to me. So one thing that I found so good was we started doing this PT class on a Saturday morning, which we started
yeah,
as part of our Being Fit for 40 thing, which was Lynn's and
yeah,
Joe and
yeah,
Michelle. And that would became like it was more than a workout. We would work out
yeah,
and we would work really hard on a Saturday morning. We'd be there at 7 a.m. virtually
yeah,
every morning for getting on for 10 years we did it. But it was like I don't know. It was just, I suppose it's a habit, isn't it? But it was also an opportunity to see my friends, and
yeah,
we enjoyed it. We enjoyed being together. We enjoyed
yeah,
pushing each other enough, but also knowing, and Holly was, as a PT, was is
yeah,
brilliant at knowing when to not push you and when you don't
yeah,
need that pressure. You just need someone to just encourage you or just say, do you know
yeah,
what? Do something else.
yeah,
We'll do this. We'll do the other.
absolutely, yeah,
And I think
absolutely,
I learned to enjoy that. And then during lockdown, obviously, we didn't have that. And I joined an app called Fit, and that allowed you to work out with other people on the app. So you could do a class with
uh,
someone else or with a group of people. And we actually, because it was lockdown and you did this, we created like a little virtual group on Facebook, and we were all like, none of us have ever met in person. I think maybe one or two did in the end. But we had this little gang going on, and we'd do workouts together in the morning, and you could do it competitively or you could just do it so that you knew that
yeah,
someone else. And I had a workout partner who was a lady in South Wales, and we would work out every morning together. I've never met her.
nice,
We
yeah,
got to be Instagram friends, but we just kept each other going. And I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
accountability and that camaraderie, if that's the right word,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
works really well with exercise. And
mm,
again, I think if I could find, we don't train with Holly anymore, and I've not been able to find that again. So I need
yeah,
that. I need that.
yeah,
It's hard, isn't it?
it's yeah, that's it. Because like when you said about Lynn's and I, pre-kids, we would meet in the morning and we would go for a run before work, and
Mm,
we would do these things, and I don't know. It's interesting because I think the problem was entirely my problem. It
mm,
was it was where my mind was at.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
I think that it was just always too hard,
Mm.
always too hard, and I didn't have the capacity to do it. And
No, and we've touched on mental load loads in these podcasts, and I do think it's that mental load that exercise, if it's not a habit and if it's not something you enjoy, it's just another thing to tick off the list. And actually, if you're not enjoying something and it's hard to see the benefit of exercise because it's not obvious. You're not going to immediately have a six pack. I mean, I've never had a six pack and I never will. It- So you don't see the immediate benefits of it, and it's hard to get into the mindset of doing it then. So it just increases the mental load rather than helping it really, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Mm.
That's it. Yeah.
So we've talked about careers and health. We're not going to talk about relationships because me and Katie did a drunken relationships podcast last week, which I've still got regrets about. Um, so we'll talk
Yeah.
about
So there's no regrets relationship wise.
no,
Everything
God
is
no.
fabulous.
Everything's wonderful. We're so
I
happy.
have the best husband in the world.
So let's talk about
So
mistakes.
blessed.
Let's talk about mistakes quickly before, because we're going to run out of time. Is there anything in your life that's happened that you might class as a mistake, but actually it's been in a good way? Do you know something that's improved your life or something that if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't be where you are now?
Really, have you got something? Have you thought about this?
Well, so I suppose I probably did touch on it a little bit last week, and it's not a mistake as such as it, but it was a tough time for us, and we talked about IVF. So when Neil and I got married, and you do the traditional thing, get married, and you have kids. That's what happens, and that didn't happen for us, and so um, and it was a really tough time, and I said to Katie on the podcast last week, looking back, actually. I think we have both probably got a little PTSD from that because it was a really traumatic time. Um, but we were dead lucky with IVF and we fell pregnant immediately. First try, first embryo, everything happened literally like lined up perfectly and we got Freya. So whilst it was such a tough time, I feel like it shaped our family really because we've always been really grateful. And then Lottie came along as a bit of a shocker because we'd come to the conclusion that was it. We would just have one child and we were dead happy with that. And she was a complete surprise out of the blue, that once in a million, a miracle, really. And so I've always called them both miracle children. Freya was a miracle scientifically, and Lottie was just a miracle because that wasn't expected. And I think that's created a real bedrock for our family. And I know for some families, it actually probably splits people and it probably creates more tension and trauma and hard stuff. But I think for us, that's created a really strong family unit for us.
Yeah,
And I've never hidden it from Freya. I've always told her from day one about IVF and explained about IVF, and Lottie understands it as well. And
yeah.
and Freya's almost a bit proud of it. She was saying to me the other day how she said, because I'm IVF, I'm like the best version of myself because they took the best sperm and the best egg and they put them together and I'm like the best I can be. It's like, yeah, that's how it works.
What is it they call like the best thing? Is it like the it's like an MVP, the most
Oh,
valuable player? Or
yeah, that's what she was. She was the most valuable embryo.
yeah, she's the most. It's really funny because I know you had Freya via. It's one thing I do know about you,
Mm,
but it's never anything I consider. Like anytime I see Freya, it's never anything I think, oh,
no,
that. It's
no.
just like it's just they're fabulous Freya. You just
But it's so normal now, I think, as well.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
certainly,
yeah,
I mean, I had a really, really good boss when I went through IVF. I worked at the University of Salford and he was dead understanding. And I said, I'm literally going to be going for these appointments. I'm going to be late some mornings, all this kind of thing. And he just let me crack on with it. But it was quite unusual at the time. But I think now it's more common, or certainly more people talk about it openly than I think ever before. Um, so yeah, and I like that because I like to think, well, I I've always talked about it openly. I've never hidden it, and I think that's quite nice that we've now got a world where people will talk about things and
I absolutely agree, and I think there's that kind of phrase, isn't it? You don't know what's going on in, in someone's life, so always be kind. And
mm,
I certainly know when people maybe at work that, and I totally understand that mindset and approach to it that we want to keep everything a secret until we've got some positive, good news to share.
mm,
But then it's sometimes I feel like it's quite hard for people to understand
yeah,
what's going on or why, you know, yeah,
yeah,
it's difficult. And I
yeah,
do think the more open we are about things,
the better.
the better.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, last question, last difficult question. I hope you've thought about this one. I'm not going to flummox you again. If
Don't,
you,
you see, I don't know if there was anything that I needed to let. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I think my life's been fairly quite, but like I went to school, stayed at school.
mm, yeah, well, yeah, you've been a student, an eternal student. Okay, so
Absolutely.
last question then, and you've got to answer it first because I've not thought about it either. But if you had one piece of advice for your younger self, what would it
I
be?
have thought about this.
Yay.
I have thought about this. Let me just avert my eyes to the side to my notes because there was three things I wrote down. Um, Everything's temporary.
Hmm.
Nothing that everything's temporary. And I can't remember when we came on at the beginning, we were talking about something and it was relevant then.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing, which was a very good piece of advice, and you mentioned Lindsay before about the gym. And there was quite a challenging time in my career that was at the similar time to when I was pregnant and kind of post-pregnancy, is that you can't change other people or you can't change situations, but you can change how you respond
Hmm.
to it,
Yeah.
was something else that I think's very important to be aware of and to kind of have. I think there's a lot more things on social media about what you can control and
Yeah.
what you can't control now.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important to be aware of. And yeah, well, the other one was kind of linked around the thing, are we behind? Are we where we're supposed to be? And
Hmm.
I think behind to who?
Yeah. Exactly.
Behind compared to who?
Yeah.
And we can have this kind of thing, like you say, we get married and we have kids and we do this, but the I think you do what's right for yourself at
Yeah.
the time. And
Yeah.
I don't know how much we questioned in our younger years, are we happy?
Yeah.
Or what would make us happy?
No, I agree, and I think I suppose that linked quite nicely to my advice really, which would be and going back to your everything's temporary. I think it's really important to know that everything's temporary, positive and negative things. So
Mm,
negative things will end. It doesn't go on
mhm,
forever, but so do nice things. So enjoy the moment of them. Don't
mhm.
overthink the nice stuff that's happening to you and don't think beyond it. Just enjoy it while it's happening to you because I do think, particularly in today's society with social media, we're always looking to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and that links to the final piece where you ended as well. Is comparison is that I'm sure there's some phrase about comparison, but it's the root of all evil,
It,
isn't it? It is.
it's comparison is the thief of joy.
That's it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you can't compare yourself with someone on social media who has spent 2 hours in hair and makeup, who has a professional person dressing them, who has thousands of pounds to spend on clothes. You can't compare yourself to someone who gives the appearance of a perfect life, who has everything organized, who bloody social media is the crap out of everything because they get stuff sent to them free because you're you and you've made your
yeah,
decisions to get where you are and you've got to live that life that you've created for yourself and be proud of it because
yeah.
I think it's easy to compare yourself against other
Absolutely.
people, but it really
Absolutely.
is joy.
And everybody's like, oh, everything's a work in progress, isn't it?
Mm, Yeah.
And you've got to kind of enjoy the journey of getting there, because when do you get there?
Yeah.
And I don't even know where there is. I've never been one of these people that's had a goal and I'm aspiring. Maybe that's maybe that's something I could have planned, but obviously with our girls being the same age, and you'll have talked about this, I'm sure, about where they want to get to or what they want. I don't know what Freya's kind of ambition is, but it's like they want to kind of have a good job that
Mm.
pays money, I suppose, with the littlest amount of effort,
Yes.
because that's, I suppose, what they
Yeah.
see on social media.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll say to Lois, well, if you look at, I think I used Claudia Winkleman as an example
Yeah.
the other week. She's, I think, a little bit older than us, not significantly older
No.
than us.
Yeah.
And she's probably at the minute, she may still have higher to go in her career, but she's certainly reached a pinnacle.
Mm.
And she's our age or a bit older. And all that graft and time and effort she will have to have put in to
Mm.
get her to the success where she is now. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
But I think a lot of the younger generation, they're seeing this success, maybe like you say on social media or YouTube. They're a very, very minute
Yeah. Yeah.
population,
Yeah.
as is Claudia Winkleman. But she started working from a very young age to get
Mm.
there. But the other generation that they're seeing as being younger that are there now, I don't know how sustainable that is
Yeah.
or realistic. So trying to kind of put things into perspective, that yeah, smell the roses,
Yeah.
enjoy the journey,
Enjoy the life. Enjoy
roll
life.
with the punches. What other cliche can we come out with?
Oh my God, I've got them all. I've got them all. Well, that was incredible, Pat. Thank you so much for joining me on our little extra podcast without Katie Curry,
I know.
who's
I wonder what
sunning
she's doing
herself.
at the minute. She'd maybe,
She'll be
hmm,
asleep. It's the night
could be
time.
asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'll be chatting to Katie, hopefully tonight, our time, tomorrow morning, her time, and I'll put that out as well next week on Crisis Talks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put this episode out, and it's been wonderful to
Thank you for
talk.
inviting me. Little Friday
Oh,
morning treat.
I know, and I feel like I've learned so much about Pat Wilson. I'd love
I don't
it.
learn so much about you.
I know it's fab. Well, thank you very much again, Pat, and lovely to see you,
Okay.
and hopefully see you again on the podcast soon.
Yeah. Hopefully see you in real life soon.
I know, yeah, brilliant.
IRL.
Yeah. See you soon. Bye.
See you. Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
And don't forget to subscribe for access to all our future episodes. And please get in touch with us. We're on Instagram, midlife_no crisis_pod. And we're on Facebook, Midlife No Crisis. We'd love to hear from you soon. See you next time.